Alright guys, so take a look at this bike. This is the Street Glide Special. I actually rode a whole bunch of Harley Davidsons last year, and I posted the ride and review videos on my channel. And the second most viewed video was the Street Glide, which is interesting. So this is the Special. The Special has the 114. If it's not a Special, it's got a 107. And this actually has the Stage 2, which is an upgraded cam, upgraded air filter, and upgraded exhaust system. So take a look at that. Pretty nice. We're gonna take it for a test drive. Take a look at this. Look at how big it is. It's really big. All right. So to turn it on, you turn this on. Make sure it's in neutral. This is not in neutral. All right, now it's in neutral. All right. All right, so we turn this on, pulling the clutch. Oh yeah. So with the Stage 2, it should be faster, it should be louder, it should be more awesome than the regular Street Glide. And you can definitely tell it's got kind of a interesting rumble to it. Got some floorboards, got quite a bit of shaking. Look at how much this shakes. Probably from the cam. That's what gives it a little bit more shake in the handlebars. Sounds pretty good. All right, so let's take out the Street Glide. All right, so before I take it out, I want to show you the clutch. I always like to look at that. It's only like maybe an inch before it starts catching, which is nice. I like that, instead of letting the clutch way out. All right, so I don't know if this guy's gonna take off first here. Don't want to run anyone over. All right, let's do it. Pretty nice, pretty nice, pretty nice. The floorboards are pretty high up. The back brakes, pretty good, actually. Blinkers here. This thing is like really chugging from that cam. It's definitely the cam that kind of makes it chug like that. Just pretty nice. Seems a little bit top heavy with that fairing. All right, we're gonna have to wait till we get on the road before we really open this thing up. I would say one thing I'm not a fan of already is that the floorboards are a little bit further up than I would be comfortable with. Well, of course, I'm pretty big. I'm actually 6'4", 235 pounds. So this bike seems like I don't really like my knees that far above the gas tank, but it's not bad. The seat's really comfortable. Just a little bit different. Yeah. So let's see here. All right, slow speed stability is really nice on this one. Wow. Really fast, really loud. I think this is definitely the loudest bike that I've been on all day. Sounds really good. The thing I noticed on this one is, take a look at the mirrors. The mirrors are completely different than your regular Harley Davidson mirrors. That's an interesting sound to it. Wow. I'm not sure if I like that exhaust sound. I know you can, there's so many ways you can change the exhaust. I like more of a deeper kind of a roar. That's like almost a higher kind of a popping sound. So on this one, it's kind of interesting. I get a little bit of buffeting on my helmet. I think it's just because I'm so tall. So if I kind of move down a little bit, I get like no buffeting. But if I move up, yeah. So personally, if I bought this bike, I'd have to probably increase the windscreen. I could probably do it like, it's really low, so my vision actually comes up about maybe 4 inches above the windscreen, so I could probably maybe get a different windscreen, maybe 2 more inches, and that would probably solve my buffeting. Wow, it's really super stable and really easy to maneuver. So it's a lot more easier to move back and forth than like the Fat Bob or the Street Bob. Not quite as flickable as you'd see like in your Street Bob. But yeah, this is a nice bike. Really smooth. So I don't really feel hardly any vibration coming up through the bike. I would say the Road King is probably a little bit smoother than this one, but this is definitely smoother than most of the bikes that I check out. So this is smoother than the Heritage Classic, smoother than the Street Bob for sure. So this is pretty nice. That muffler cracks me up. It's pretty loud. This one actually has a dial for the RPM, which is interesting. Seems like a lot of the bikes have digital RPMs and then a dial for the speed. So this one actually just has all dials. Which is interesting. I'm gonna crack my visor a little bit because it was raining earlier and it's so humid. It's like fogging up my visor. Yeah, this is a nice bike. I'm actually, even though my feet are further up than I like, I still feel really comfortable. So really nice. It is super fast. I'd say it's probably one of the faster ones. Definitely from that cam. Because once you get a bike like this, it's kind of like the weight of a Road King, because it's like a full-size bike. The Road King's got a lot of power, but the problem is with the Road King is it's just so heavy. It doesn't have as much pickup as a lot of your lighter bikes, so it kind of takes away from it. And this kind of makes up for it with the Stage 2. Gives you more power. Yeah, definitely an interesting bike. I'm wondering if this is one of their best sellers because my video was like second most popular. I think they had 3 different versions of the Street Glide on the demo, so it makes me wonder if a lot of people are buying these Street Glides. Seems like a lot of people I've seen, seems like a lot of the bikes on the road, I'd say they're either Street Glides or Road Glides. So the other interesting thing is the difference between the Street Glide and the Road Glide is in the fairing. So this one actually, the fairing turns with the handlebar because it's like mounted to the handlebar. And with the Road Glide, the fairing is actually mounted to the frame. So you turn the handlebars and the fairing doesn't move. So that's the difference between the two. But from what I'm seeing, it seems like maybe the Street Glide is a little bit more popular than the Road Glide for whatever reason. Alright, my visor's fogging up. I need to crack it because it is super, it's usually really dry. Here in Colorado, it's usually super dry and super hot. It's been like in the 90s every day, and today, I don't know if there's a temperature gauge on this, which I'm surprised there isn't actually. I'm not really seeing one, but it's got to be like 75 degrees. It's beautiful as long as it doesn't rain. This is really super fast. wondering if you could lift up the front end on this. I don't know. I don't know if you could lift up the front end. That's a pretty fast bike. Alright, so I'm going to turn around. I'm actually going to turn around right here. They said you could go on the highway, but I'm just going to turn around here. And then I can kind of see what the slow speed stability and the turning radius is on something like this. Some bikes are easier to turn around. This one's fairly easy. Not too bad. Some of them are kind of challenging to actually turn around. And I'm not exactly sure what makes one so much more easier. This one's definitely top heavy. Really top heavy. Wow. Wow. That's some pretty serious pickup right there. Second gear, I went up to 60 miles an hour. Pretty awesome. Cruises along pretty well. Still feel a little of that buffeting on my helmet. It's not too bad, I'd say. 65. Of course, after a long time on the highway, that might get a little annoying. Of course, I could, you know, if I raised up the, if I got a different windshield, I'm sure you can get a windscreen insert on that and raise it up a little bit, and I'd be fine on that. So that's probably the first thing I'd change. Kind of the interesting thing on this is, if you compare it to the Road King, I always thought the Road King was kind of the same frame as something like this. But it seemed like the Road King had a little less vibration up through the handlebars than this one. This one seems like maybe it has slightly a little bit more road vibration. We'll see. I'll kill the I'll pull the clutch and just coast. Maybe it's a combination of the engine too, because of that stage. I think it's from the stage 2, kind of giving it more of a choppy feel up through the handlebars. I think that's what it is. But the Road King, it was buttery smooth on the road. Road King Special, definitely one of my favorites. This is kind of nice too, because you kind of the advantage of a windscreen, but it doesn't really seem like the windscreen's really in the way, versus some of your other ones are actually looking through the windscreen. So this one doesn't feel quite as stable in the corners as the Road King. Seems like the Road King was a little more stable. This one seems like it maybe drifts a little bit. I think maybe it's from the wind resistance on the windscreen that's attached to the handlebars that's kind of giving it that kind of a weird feeling. You know, you get a little bit of buffeting through the windscreen that's kind of going up through the handlebars around the corner. Gives you kind of the sensation where it doesn't feel quite as stable as the Road King. Of course, the Road King that I rode, the Road King Special, didn't have the windscreen on it. It's just completely open. Alright, so let's see. This thing definitely has like a choppy idle to it. It's pretty awesome. It kind of sounds like a hot rod. I definitely like, I'm getting used to the sound. I definitely like the sound. Pretty awesome sound on this. My Dyna has short shots on it, and it's like more of a raw thunder. This one's just has a different. This almost sounds like it has it almost sounds like the Grenades. If you've ever heard of the Grenades, it's kind of like a slip-on. They have mini grenades and regular grenades. They kind of have that pop sound to it. So yeah, this is pretty smooth. Now that I kind of know what that little bit of a shimmy around the corner is, I think it's from the windscreen kind of choppiness a little bit. I'm thinking maybe in the Road Glide, maybe it'll be, especially if you have like a stage 2 with the Road Glide, maybe it'll be a little bit more stable in the corners, just because you don't have the, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's just from the windscreen. This one's really easy to maneuver on the road. So like that rock in the road, it was a little rock, I could just kind of pop right around it. Whereas if you had like the Fat Boy or the Fat Bob, it takes probably 3 or 4 times more effort to actually push on the handlebars to move it back and forth. So this one's pretty nimble on the road, maybe not as nimble as like a Street Bob. The Street Bob with a thinner front tire seemed like it was a little bit more nimble on the road. These mirrors are kind of growing on me. They have an interesting look to them, but they're really bowed out to where you can see a lot behind you. They're really nice mirrors. Probably some of the best I've seen, actually. So sometimes you'll have small mirrors like that and they're not really bowed out as much as they should be. Like, it seemed on a lot of your BMWs, they had small mirrors like that, but they weren't really bowed out. So they're, if you just have a mirror that's not bowed out, they're pretty worthless because you really can't see very much, especially if it's a small mirror. But these are really nice, actually. So pretty good in the corners, not too bad. Got a really nice sound. I'm starting to like that sound more and more. I thought it was kind of funny at first, just because compared to the motorcycle that I'm used to riding, with really pretty much the loudest pipes that you can get of the short shots. The rear brakes are really nice on this one. I've rid a few Harley Davidsons where the brakes are pretty bad. Like the Sportster S seems like it had really bad back brakes. Really good front brakes though. So alright, I'm gonna pop my visor because I'm steaming up. Yeah, so this is really, I feel really confident. It's really maneuverable, really nimble. I think it's because the weight of the visor kind of like dips it into the corners, and I found a lot of them with the kind of like the whole visor system up on top. You come up to a stop and it feels like you're gonna kind of fall over because it's so heavy, but if you're going around into corners, a lot of times they can really help you put a little extra weight into the corner. So pros and cons to that. This is a really interesting motorcycle. I'm usually not a fan of floorboards, but these floorboards are starting to grow on me. I really like this one. Oh, let me go down this way. By the red arrows, yes, the red arrows. So would I buy this bike? Yes, I would buy this bike. This is pretty awesome. I think my favorite so far, if I was to pick, I don't know, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick. I'd say probably maybe the Road King Special. Road King Special is definitely one of my favorites. Alright. So I killed it without putting it in neutral, but I put it in neutral after I killed it. Alright, so there you have it. That is the 2022 Harley Davidson Street Glide Special. And that has the Stage 2 upgrade. Alright guys, thanks for coming along, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.